For all its beauty and splendor, the wilderness can be a cruel teacher. Backcountry backpacking is a thrilling adventure that challenges the daring among us into the untamed wilderness. But within its allure lies the essence of both its enchantment and its risk. In these remote landscapes, danger lurks in the shadows, camouflaged within the breathtaking scenery. The undulating terrains and rugged paths can swiftly transform from friend to foe, testing your resilience at every step. Please click the subscribe and like buttons. This is Outdoor Disasters. The Wind River Range in Wyoming is a breathtaking expanse of rugged mountains that spans about 100 miles or 160 kilometers in length. Renowned for its stunning alpine scenery, pristine lakes, and challenging terrain, it's a haven for outdoor enthusiasts, particularly hikers, backpackers, climbers, and anglers. The Wind River Range, with its emerald lakes, jagged peaks, and untamed wilderness, tells tales of grandeur to those who venture into its realm. It boasts over 40 peaks, including Gannett Peak, the highest point in Wyoming at 13,809 feet or 4,209 meters. The Wind River Range is part of the Rocky Mountains and is situated in western Wyoming, primarily within the Bridger-Teton National Forest and Popo-Agie Wilderness. The range is known for its numerous glaciers and pristine alpine lakes, which offers stunning reflections of the surrounding peaks. The range includes designated wilderness areas such as the Bridger Wilderness and the Fitzpatrick Wilderness, ensuring preservation and minimal human impact. The Wind River Range's pristine beauty and challenging terrain make it an adventurer's paradise, drawing outdoor enthusiasts seeking solitude, natural beauty, and the thrill of exploration amid a rugged and untamed landscape. The Wind River Range isn't just a destination, it's a pilgrimage for the adventurous spirit, calling explorers to traverse its rugged trails and discover hidden treasures at every turn. Each step in the rugged expanse resonates with the pulse of nature here. One finds an understanding that within the wilderness lies a mirror to our own untamed spirits, urging us to seek, explore, and discover the depths of our own inner landscapes. For Mike Turner, his Wind River adventure would be treacherous. Mike Turner, age 48, epitomized the balance between his roles, an ardent outdoorsman and the pastor at Boone Memorial Presbyterian Church in Caldwell, Idaho, where congregants found solace in his warm demeanor. Embracing both the communal sanctuary of a 500-member parish and the serene solitude of untamed landscapes, Turner effortlessly integrated these seemingly divergent passions into his life. For him, the divine manifested both in the spiritual sanctuary of the church and the raw majesty of the wilderness. His ordainment as a minister in 1976 was commemorated with an 18-day mountain hike in Wyoming, a place where he felt a spiritual connection. Significant moments in his life were intertwined with nature, from the first touch of his wife's hand in Rocky Mountain National Park to family vacations spent hiking and engaging in profound discussions amid trails. Mark Smith, a close friend, remarked, "Mike was drawn to the high country. It was where he felt closest to God." In the summer of 1998, Turner sought a challenge to test his physical and spiritual limits after a 3-month sabbatical. His gaze naturally turned to the Wind River's mountain range in western Wyoming, known for its ruggedness and grandeur, the pinnacle of the state's wilderness. Turner meticulously planned a 60-mile solo hike, venturing off established trails, navigating 2 continental divides, a glacier, immersing himself in the remote Fitzpatrick Wilderness. He chose solitude, believing it would allow him to move at his own pace, capture moments with his camera, and commune with God in peaceful seclusion. His meticulously planned adventure was christened Wander in Wonder, a phrase that adorned his itinerary in bold letters. On the morning of July 30th, 1998, Turner, accompanied by his faithful dog Andy, loaded his gear into his blue Honda Civic. Before departing, he presented his wife of 2 decades with a bouquet, expressing gratitude for her support. "Thank you for letting me live this adventure," the card read. "Know wherever I am and whatever I'm doing, I am thinking of you." With those words, Mike Turner embarked on his journey into the Wyoming wilderness. On his first night, he camped along Eklund Lake, a serene stop 6 miles deep within the Bridger-Teton National Forest. A gentle symphony of birdsong accompanied a soft breeze that stirred the lofty pines. Turner's trail meandered towards Island Lake in the heart of the Wind River Mountains, a celestial expanse that, in his words, amazing beauty that fills my soul. Ascending to the 3,700-meter Indian Pass, he encountered a stark transition, the boundary separating the bustling Bridger Wilderness, teeming with trails and adventurers, from the desolate, trackless Fitzpatrick Wilderness. Upon reaching the pass's zenith, Turner paused to capture moments through his lens, consulting his map, before traversing onto the Knife Point Glacier, a sprawling expanse of ice etched with treacherous crevasses. Negotiating this icy terrain posed challenges. Andy, his faithful companion, struggled on the slippery surface, prompting concern. Turner, too, encountered a perilous slide on the glacier's treacherous slopes, devoid of essential climbing gear. This incident, downplayed in his journal, led to a pivotal divergence from his meticulously planned Wander and Wonder itinerary. Opting for a lengthier path, initially enchanting, they ventured into a valley laden with wildflowers and grasses, an incredible sight under the sunset. Amidst weariness, Turner found solace in wilderness commitment, reflecting on the day's trials and dangers. As twilight painted the sky, Turner settled into his tent, reflecting on the day's events in his journal. Exhaustion mingled with exhilaration, a testament to the trek in the untamed wilderness. Under the star-studded canvas of the mountain sky, he fell asleep. Little did he know the next day everything would change. At 11,400 feet, or 3,740 meters in Wyoming's Fitzpatrick Wilderness, nestled against the Brown Cliffs Ridge in the elevated reaches of the Wind River Range, lay a nameless lake. It existed in a barren expanse where only windswept remnants of snow adorned the landscape. Set amidst a desolate terrain of wind, stone, and boundless sky, this lake found its haven within a secluded bowl of fractured boulders, a domain seldom touched by visitors. On August 2nd, 1998, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Mike and Andy navigated the rocky terrain along the lake's eastern shore. Laden with the weight of his gear, Mike proceeded cautiously, sweating under the shelter of a chocolate-brown floppy hat. Day 4 of a planned 9-day hike proved more challenging than anticipated, compounded by Andy's raw pause from navigating snow-covered passes, slowing their progress. Approaching the lake, Turner stepped onto a large boulder that shifted treacherously beneath him. Reacting swiftly, he leaped forward, landing on another boulder at an awkward angle. In a harrowing moment, the shifting rocks closed in, trapping him between them and crushing his legs with excruciating force. As the chaos of the rockslide subsided, a haunting silence enveloped Mike. Stunned and gasping for breath amid dust and fear, he assessed his situation, finding his legs trapped but miraculously unbroken. With sheer determination, he attempted to free himself, using his bare hands and tripod as leverage, attempting to move the colossal weight of the rocks. Despite his efforts, the boulder remained immovable, ensnaring him in a dire predicament. Hour after hour, Mike strained against the rock's vice-like grip, his hope flickering with each failed attempt. Exhausted and facing the stark reality of his entrapment, he sought solace in his journal, scribbling his desperate plea for help and guidance from God. Gazing at the desolate landscape, he contemplated his next move, endeavoring to stay composed and rational amidst the dire circumstances. With a heart heavy with uncertainty and a prayer on his lips, the Reverend Mike Turner grappled with the brutal isolation of his predicament, his fate hanging in the balance amidst the unforgiving terrain. "About 2 hours ago, a large rock rolled upon me and trapped my legs," Reverend Turner wrote. "I was very careful, be sure of that, but I hurt. I am in your hands, Lord. I don't know what I face." Following the harrowing rockslide and realizing his entrapment, Turner shifted his focus from attempting escape to surviving the impending nightfall. The hours passed fitfully as he contorted his sleeping bag around his legs for warmth. In his subsequent journal entry, Turner methodically cataloged his apprehensions, projecting them onto paper. "I am concerned about first losing my legs, second running out of snow to melt for water and fuel, third hypothermia." His foremost worry centered on water scarcity. Despite the nearby lake, as he rationed his remaining supplies and even pondered the prospect of flavoring his urine with crystal light. Resourcefully organizing his surroundings, Turner fashioned an impromptu camp from his packed gear. He meticulously evaluated each item's potential, considering how they could aid his liberation or serve as signals for help. His camera morphed into a tool to dislodge the rock, while the tense rainfly served as both a shade from the sun and a potential rain collector. On one hand, a rainstorm could save my life, giving me the water I need. I've got plans to catch every available drop. But then the rain is also my worst enemy because if I get soaked, my legs will get very cold. A rain would be very hard to survive. Despite the turmoil, Turner's first complete day in this precarious situation offered a semblance of solace. He had enough water for a day or two, experienced no acute pain or severe bleeding, and clung to a thread of hope. Tuning his senses to any possible signs of approaching help, he strained to detect sounds of hikers or the distant whirring of a helicopter, though it remained elusive. Turner recognized it wasn't intended for his rescue. Despite his own dire circumstances, his empathy extended to the unknown person in need, expressing a wish for their recovery. "Hope they find that lost person too," he wrote. Eventually, the sound of the chopper faded. The solitude that Mike Turner had longed for was much more than he wanted. As per Turner's planned schedule, he aimed to conclude his trek in 9 days, meeting up with family and friends at the Big Sandy Trailhead on Saturday, August 8th. When he failed to appear at the appointed noon hour, Diane initially harbored mild worry. As the hours of Saturday afternoon dragged on and the group established camp at Dad's Lake, doubts began in Diane's thoughts. By the time the night came, Diane grasped the severity of the situation. Her husband was missing. They resolved to seek assistance the following morning. On August 10th at 10:06 a.m., the Sublette County Sheriff's Office in Pinedale, Wyoming received the distress call, prompting a notification to pilot Danny Holgate. A key figure in the tip-top search and rescue volunteer unit, Holgate anticipated the challenges ahead, recognizing the enormity of the search area encompassing vast territories. 2 national forests, both sides of the Continental Divide, 2 counties, 3 designated wilderness zones, and the Wind River Indian Reservation. The sheer expanse of the region dwarfed volunteer efforts, as one member remarked, "You could have every volunteer in Wyoming link arms and never cover a quarter of it." As the helicopter banked for another pass, Holgate strained to make out new footprints on Gannett Glacier and thought, hell of a place to get lost. While grappling with the overwhelming solitude, Turner found the weather to be his most immediate and relentless adversary. Official records from the nearby Big Piney weather station indicated scorching daytime temperatures exceeding 100 degrees, plunging drastically to 39 degrees at night. In the elevated mountain terrain, the cold nights stretched endlessly, while the midday sun proved unforgiving. Initially, Turner relied on melting snow for hydration, but the few accessible pockets of snow quickly depleted. He tied a length of cord to the lid of his water bottle and tried tossing it into the lake. It jammed into the rocks just a few feet short. The frigid boulders depleted body warmth on one night, leaving Turner waking repeatedly, overcome by shivers. Long hours passed in solitude, marked only by the relentless force of the wind against the mountainside. Deprived of water and exposed to nature's fury, Turner succumbed to its effects, experiencing hallucinations where he mistook familiar figures like Diane and his daughter Katie for a fleeting moment. They had been on the rock. I cried out aloud for you. The rock seemed to have moved. It is like others are present, only it is Andy, and then I'm doing something because they suggested it. Haunted by the solitude, Turner grappled with conflicting emotions towards God, expressing a sense of abandonment and anger, writing, "God is with me, but I am angry with him. Why this terrible injustice, or is it the product of pride? This sense of wrestling against God or the angel of God is distressing. I don't want to be fighting against God's will. How am I failing him, or what does he need me to teach? What is the purpose of this ordeal? Will I ever know or continue to be puzzled, angered, and feel quite abandoned by the one I serve?" His profound faith in God's perpetual presence contrasted starkly with feelings of forsakenness, perplexity, and a profound sense of struggle against an unknown divine plan. For a man accustomed to imparting the joy of faith to others, Turner found himself in a place of unparalleled suffering that challenged his beliefs. "Last evening, I was getting my bedding set around my feet. My bedding can't get down there normally when I noticed something like a cast on the front of my leg. It was my leg without feeling. I felt like I had to get out and began working from 9 p.m. to 12, slowly levering the rock. Now it is tighter. I cried out and cried out to God, who doesn't seem to care about my suffering, struggling in pain, and the loss of my left leg. I begged and prayed for some help in moving the rock, but none seemed to come. His cries and prayers for divine intervention to alleviate his suffering and prevent the perceived loss of his left leg were all met by a stark and deafening silence. Several days into his journey, as Turner struggled against the immovable boulder, his journal slipped out of reach. Throughout his entrapment, the notebook had served as a lifeline, a tenuous connection to his loved ones, offering solace and preserving his voice amid the desolate landscape. Its sudden absence spurred a frantic search for any writable surface. Among his possessions, he unearthed a pocket-sized New Testament from his first aid kit and began inscribing its blank pages over the ensuing days. When those pages filled, he resorted to the margins of the lone piece of paper left, the instruction sheet for his camp stove. These scribblings, disorganized and less decipherable, chronicled his mental and physical decline, expressing love for his family, apologies and reflections on his impending fate. "Shutting down," he wrote as he passed a week trapped in the rocks. "Getting low, thought I would be found yesterday, many thoughts, most of the church, future for kids, some friends. I love you, Diane. I'm terribly sorry." In a poignant moment, Mike removed his wedding ring, placing it carefully on a nearby rock to prevent its loss. Despite his role as a pastor, comforting countless others facing mortality here, alone in the untamed wilderness, he was navigating his own passage from life. As his body weakened, his spirit seemed to ascend, shedding doubts and anger. What emerged was an unwavering foundation of faith, a testament etched in his final legible lines: "God loves, love Dad, Mike." While a boulder could crush his body, it couldn't shatter his faith. And then, a solemn conclusion marked the silence of Mike Turner's journal 10 days after he had become trapped. In the flurry of days that ensued following Diane's initial plea for assistance, a rapid response team meticulously retraced Turner's planned route. The retail giant REI expedited the transmission of the track pattern for Turner's size 13, a solo hiking boot, aiding searchers in scanning for footprints. Posters bearing Turner's details were prominently displayed at trailheads and across storefronts, spanning from Pinedale to Lander. The Turner children diligently gathered information from trailhead registers, cross-referencing names with online phone listings. Carloads of dedicated volunteers from Turner's congregation congregated in the Wind Rivers, demonstrating an unprecedented level of involvement and support. "We've never had a search like this one in terms of the family and friends being so involved and so helpful," Holgate says. "It was obvious from the start that this guy was loved and respected." However, despite the concerted efforts and the multitude of vigilant eyes scanning the landscape, each lead seemed to veer into dead ends, and the window for a successful search was rapidly closing. On August 23, 1998, the active search for Mike Turner was officially halted. Holgate assured the family, "The case isn't closed." Holgate told the family, "We'll throw everything we have at any new lead. But for now, we've done all that we can." As the weather turned colder and the first snow graced the lofty peaks, it appeared that the mysteries of Mike Turner's fate would be locked within the mountains. Holgate acknowledged the necessity for a breakthrough, stating, "We needed to catch a break." And finally, their fortune changed. 5 days after the termination of the search, Turner's faithful companion, Andy, emerged from the wilderness, guided by 2 hikers who had spotted the posters at the trailhead. Damp, weary, and 20 pounds lighter, the dog displayed exhaustion, but remained unharmed. After receiving care at a veterinary clinic, Andy rested while both searchers and the family assembled once more. Diane expressed the range of emotions evoked by Andy's discovery, stating, "Finding Andy alive brought forth a flood of emotions. I held on to hope while trying to stay realistic." On August 31st, over a month after Mike Turner's departure and 23 days past the expected rendezvous at Big Sandy, a search team embarked on one last expedition into the Wind Rivers, banking on Andy to lead them toward resolution potentially. Coinciding with this effort, Jeff Stewart, a hiker from San Diego, traversed the periphery of the unnamed lake near the Brown Cliffs, following a 9-day off-trail journey reminiscent of Mike Turner's route. While cautiously navigating the rocky terrain, Stuart glanced up and spotted what seemed to be a person seated amidst the rocks, roughly 50 yards distant. "I had seen the posters at the trailhead, knew they were searching," he recounted. "So I called out, 'Hey, are you okay?' There was no response. I didn't expect one." Stuart already had a hunch who it was. On September 3rd, as the search team prepared to descend from Indian Pass onto Knife Point Glacier, following Andy's lead, their radio buzzed to life. It was Danny Holgate. "Change of plans," he instructed. A hiker had arrived at the Sublette County Sheriff's Office carrying a wallet belonging to Mike Turner, confirming the location of Mike's body. It was recovered by local authorities, and an autopsy conducted by the coroner confirmed that Reverend Mike Turner had passed away on August 11th, coinciding with the commencement of the initial search when Danny Holgate's helicopter first took flight. Most remarkable is Mike's resilience, enduring over a week while trapped upright in the rugged expanse of Wyoming's high terrain, exposed to the harsh elements. Throughout, Andy remained close, often perched on a rocky ledge overlooking him. Exactly a year after Mike Turner's intended conclusion of his hike at Big Sandy Trailhead, his family and a small circle of friends revisited the Wind Rivers. They retraced the grueling path, with Diane carrying her husband's ashes on her back. In an intimate ceremony deep within the heart of the Wind River Range, they released Mike Turner's ashes into the winds above Island Lake, the very place that had deeply moved him with its breathtaking splendor. That evening, while strolling alone along the lake's shore, Diane Turner glanced downward to behold millions of stars mirrored in the tranquil water, as if the heavens were glimpsing their own reflection. It was perfect, she remembers. The beauty of God's heaven reflecting in the beauty of God's wilderness. It was the kind of moment Mike Turner would have loved. In the trials of survival, when the wilderness tests the very essence of your being, faith becomes an anchor amidst the storm. It's in these moments of raw vulnerability that your relationship with God is truly tested and paradoxically strengthened. In these remote landscapes, danger lurks in the shadows, camouflaged within the breathtaking scenery. It's not merely about navigating the trails, but understanding the capricious nature of the elements, the lurking wildlife, and the unexpected turns of fate. The remoteness that offers a sense of freedom also demands respect. The danger of backcountry backpacking isn't a deterrent, but a call for preparedness, a reminder to honor the wilderness with reverence and preparedness. Hiking alone in the backcountry can be a deeply rewarding experience, but safety should always come first. Inform someone of your itinerary, including your planned route and expected return time. Stick to the plan and avoid spontaneous deviations. Choose trails that match your skill level and physical abilities. Don't take unnecessary risks or attempt trails beyond your experience. Carry a well-equipped backpack with essentials like a map, compass, GPS, first aid kit, extra food, water purification method, adequate clothing, emergency shelter, and a multi-tool. Keep an eye on weather forecasts. Be prepared for changing weather conditions and sudden temperature drops, especially in higher elevations. Know how to use a map and compass or GPS. Familiarize yourself with the trail before heading out and keep track of landmarks. Carry a whistle, mirror, or other signaling devices to attract attention if needed. Consider a personal locator beacon or satellite communicator for emergencies. Stay focused and aware of your surroundings. Straying off designated trails can increase the risk of getting lost or encountering hazards. Stick to marked paths whenever possible. Remember, being prepared and cautious significantly reduces risks when hiking alone. Trust your instincts, stay mindful, and prioritize safety throughout your journey. When the trials seem overwhelming, remember that every step, every moment of unwavering trust in the divine becomes a testament to your unbreakable spirit. Your faith, tried and tested in the crucible of survival, emerges unyielding, a testament to the unwavering connection between the human spirit and God. Important tips so you can get through an outdoor disaster. Thank you for watching. Want more outdoor disaster content? Check out these stories I believe you'll enjoy.